It's very wonderful to have you, Gautam Nima, with me today. You have been that person in my life who has impacted me. When I just wrote to you randomly one day on Facebook, I did not know that this is a relationship that is there to keep. So thank you for being that person. Thank you for being that person. Thank you for being such a warm person. Really, I want to, from my heart, say that you're one of those people I think who are born to do. I think they're born to touch people's lives, and I think you're doing that beautifully. So, Gautam Nima, let me introduce you. You are.
How sweet. I'm so touched. So touched. Thank you for your kind word.
Yeah, thanks so much. But Gautam Nima, you are a performing artist using spontaneous movement, and I know because thanks for participating and being the facilitator on the Coffee Bean retreats in Goa, to doing various corporate sessions with me. And you use your voice, music, and art really to bring out the best in people. You are an educator, teacher, trainer, creative program developer, and a facilitator for critical and creative thinking, which is so true. You integrate the wisdom of the body, working with movement as a process and power of authentic and creative expression. And that, I have to
Mm.
say, is why you are here on the Second Act podcast, because this podcast is about being real, being authentic, being able to take a
Mm.
chance in life. And thank you for being that person. So, welcome. This is the 98th podcast, and I'm really running for my 100. As you can see, I'm excited. And thank you again.
You go. Congratulations to you on this very um, thoughtful and wonderful um, project, should I say, that you are embarking on. And 98 already, this is amazing. What an achievement. So, congratulations to you. And yes, we connected over a random message on Facebook. And I remember the person who connected us is of course Palak, your sweet daughter, who I had the pleasure of dancing with many years ago, maybe 13, 14 years ago. She was very young, and I was just very touched that this young being remembered me, and she wanted her mother to connect with me in the context of a retreat. And I was, I primarily, I think I even said this to you, to honor that. I just wanted to make sure that we do something together and see how it goes from there. And I'm so glad we did that. I got that opportunity, and it was just wonderful. I think this meeting you was so easy for me. So I was comfortable with you very quickly, and um, that for me is something that uh, it tells me a lot about any person, who is easy to be with and comfortable to be with, and you make people comfortable around you, and that's a very beautiful quality, of course, that I felt from you, I received from you. So thank you for that. And here we are today on this lovely podcast. So I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for your warm words. Yeah, I think I'm just trying to create a space where people do feel comfortable. And if you're feeling that way, that's a big, what should I say, pat on the back. So thank you for saying
All
those
the way. Yeah.
beautiful words. But to
Yeah.
be honest, you trusted this space. You trusted me when I reached out. And I think that's rare, to be honest. And I think I would like to acknowledge
Mm.
that on the show today, that you don't find people who trust so easily. You write at 11 p.m. On one fine day, it's almost midnight, and we need to do a 9 o'clock program in the morning. It's miraculous that somebody can trust and also reach a spot. So you did that for me and for Coffee Bean Retreats and for the women who participated. I'm sure when they're hearing, they can relate to, the session that you did, and also brought out, something that they had never experienced before, and they are very fondly remembering you for
Mm.
that. So,
How nice to hear that. Thank you for
uh,
sharing that.
so nice. So, Gautam, you are in Goa. You studied abroad.
Yes.
You are a Pahari guy. You are from the mountains.
Very much.
Landed up in the United States, and then you go back to Goa. Um, Of
Yes.
course, I know it's a long journey that you have covered
Yes.
between various distances that you've covered, but give me a short synopsis of Gautam Nima.
Oh, wow. Um, Thank you for this chance to give this synopsis because I think every time this comes about an introduction, something I teach, something I open up in my spaces where I'm facilitating, the concept of introduction. How do you introduce yourself? Who are you? What are you? Um, and yeah, of course. So I am. Yes, Uh, I was raised in Missouri, a small town in Missouri, in the mountains, and um, little boy growing up there with two brothers and a very small family. My family comes from a business background. Slowly, growing up in small town, it's a beautiful experience. I tell my friends and whoever I meet, Missouri, I'm so glad I grew up there in a small town in the mountains, and we used to swing a lot on trees and make tree houses and adventures with family, trekking, hiking. So that a lot of that I realize now is within me. As it's in my childhood, whatever has gone within me, my body, climbing up those hills and the trees and sliding down the snow hills, it's really given me a kind of resilience, which makes me believe in uh, in really investing in children when they're very young in a very healthy environment, loving, safe, healthy environment for children. And I really do believe that once that has been invested in a child, at least for 7, 8 years, it goes a long ways. And I have been lucky enough to receive that from a beautiful childhood up there. But of course, growing up in Missouri, it's a small town. There's not much you can do there, especially in the field of arts. And so I was in Delhi for college, in Venkateshwara College, Venki as they call it, DU. This is back in 2004, and didn't wasn't really inclined to do academics much, but I was always into what they call the extracurricular, always playing the guitar, being in the band, dancing for college groups, traveling around, competing with the team in different colleges and college fests. So always stay connected to my desire to perform, my desire to create, my desire to share a story, tell a story. I didn't know that this is going to be my career or this is going to be something that's going to take me around the world. Not at all. Um, However, just following one thing at a time, I was not a very visionary person. I didn't have a lot of planning. I came from a small town, so not much of awareness about possibilities around careers. बस जो सुना है वो कर रहे हैं डिग्री करना है so just following a step after the other but I was blessed that I had those experiences that I got where I met the people that I met, the teachers, my beautiful partner, my wife, Pushpanjali. I met her in college. She's a big reason why I am who I am today, why what I do. She's really helped me out. Um, my parents, they never really questioned so much, like ye mat kar, wo kar. Of course, they had their insecurities around what I do, like choosing dance as a career, and they had certain suggestions and advice for me. For instance, like go to Bollywood, go to Bombay,
Mm.
do those things. Of course, but that was not for me. I tried it. I knew immediately this is not for me. Didn't fit in. Didn't feel right. Um, so just continued with my dancing and my music, singing in bars, singing in some bands in Delhi, making some pocket money, dancing in a company in Delhi. And that's where I met your daughter, Palak, of course, where I was a teacher. But I always had this dream or the desire to, because I was learning Western style, like jazz, ballet, contemporary. I wanted to go abroad and get a taste of it there and see what the standard and the qualities are there. And if I could bring that back to India and share that here, that was the intention. So Pushpanjali, my wife now, then my girlfriend, she and I planned, and we really prayed a lot, and we laws of attraction, and read books like The Secret, and making sure that we write our plans down, ideas down. spinning the globe, pointing our finger, okay, that's where we go. Literally small little events like that that um, got us to where we are. And of course, staying true to our dream of pursuing an artist life, whatever that meant then. So New York happened to us then in 2012. There were a few miracles that happened along the way to get us there. Um, that's perhaps for a different time. But we came to New York. We studied dance, theater, music in New York. And very soon um, I realized that there is a difference in training and getting educated, getting trained and getting educated as a dancer. And I was already questioning, living with my wife, Pushpanjali. She's always a thinker. She's always been encouraging me to think critically and questions like, why are we doing what we're doing? What are we doing it for? Uh, where is the creativity in this? Where is my freedom in this? Uh, where is the spiritual purpose or the meaning, the bigger vision? So she really helped me understand that. And I understood that maybe I need to get out of the studio training life and get into a university to really think like an artist and understand the depths of that world. Luckily, I found myself in a university there in Virginia, and I didn't have the money for it, of course. And long story short, my wife and I created a little video and we put it up online. Crowdfunding was just coming up back then,
Wow.
and the world blessed me with $25,000 in 45 days to go to college. And that's how I afforded my education in my university. So that was a big blessing, another miracle for me. So, signs of the universe kind of nudging me in the right direction. And some beautiful teachers from New York who really believed in me. Our spiritual teacher, our yoga teacher, Antonia, bless her heart, beautiful lady. Some other teachers like Bettina and Reagan, always guiding me in the right direction, encouraging me. And that university, of course, that education was something very. I got a scholarship as well. I got $21,000 scholarship being there, which was very rare because I'm an Indian, not an American, and it's a master's course, and they didn't have that option of giving a scholarship, but they made an exception for me. I was really blessed. Again, the universe helping me. So it was quite a miracle. But I will say, ultimately, that me as an artist, as an individual, there was me before that education, there was me after that. A whole world of difference. A whole screen got lifted off of my eyes, and I started seeing things differently, started questioning things differently. Myself, of course, my identity. Who am I? How did I become who I became? Concepts like patriarchy, the politics of the bodies, politics of art, things like that I've never thought about, of course, because I was training. I wasn't educating myself. I was training as a dancer. I
Hmm.
often tell my students that, there's a difference in being trained. You can be a technician, but to be an artist, it's a way of being, it's a way of thinking, it's a way of living, it's a way of practicing. And for that, you need an environment where you can think freely and you're encouraged to voice yourself and you are supported with some kind of a mentor or some teachers. And I knew how important that was for me. So now I try to offer that in different spaces. And we came back in 2016, 2015, December, came to Goa for a very dear friend's wedding. Pushpanjali, my wife, is from Goa, born here. So came to Goa for that, and we never left Goa. Stayed here, and slowly have been building our community here, working with children. I work in the kindergarten school. I teach there. I train teachers. I work with children, teaching them something called ballet and creative movement in Goa. And I teach a course in IIT Goa on self-awareness and self-development through movement, body awareness, and authentic creative expression. Uh, so That's the synopsis. Maybe a little longer, but thank you for asking that.
No, because every time I speak to you, I feel I have so much still to know, and there's so much depth in what you say. I try to imbibe a lot from, each word that comes out of you. So thank you for analyzing yourself so beautifully. I think I would say that we do not pay attention and we are not aware as people. I think you have really spent time not only understanding the universe, the laws of attraction, like you said, the power of asking, the power to ask, because not
Yes,
not everybody has that power, and also
yeah.
go deeper inside yourself, and now to give back. And what better when you can start with young children, kindergarten. I think
Oh,
that's the foundation. And I think most of us miss that, right? So
mm.
kudos, you are a fantastic person. And thank you for coming in my life. I mean, I would say, because there's so much to learn from you. I need to thank
Oh,
Palak, of course.
likewise. Yes, thank you, Pam.
Yes, thank you, Palak. And so, of course, many questions come from here. One of that, when I hear about asking the universe, there is very little faith in the youth or the younger generation today. Most of them will tell you, at least around me, oh, we don't believe in God. We don't believe, there is something like a magic that happens. We have to work for it, and that's how
Right,
it is. And they are more practical towards
right.
things. So, how do you think that really made a difference in your life? And what do you want to tell? What do you teach the little ones today?
That's a very beautiful question and a very pertinent one, I would say. And yes, I agree with your observation around youngsters not having that kind of uh, a guidance or a direction or a fundamental foundation of faith um, in the universe or God, you may call it. And well, I've studied history quite critically, and I see the causes and the effects of why we are where we are. Um, for children, young children, I do believe that um, they're very emotional beings. They're very vulnerable, and everything that goes into them right now has to come from a place of clear intention and pure love, just love, just care and kindness. That being the priority, not the lessons, not the goals, not the abacus or इसको 4 साल की उम्र में performer बनाना है या careers. None of that. Not even learning ABCD properly, handwriting. No, the how can we put more care and love and kindness into them as a certain kind of languaging that they just absorb because children are absorbing. They're not intellectually analyzing and all of that. The learning is just an absorption and they absorb energy. And
Right.
so every time I'm working with children, I'm really aware of my energy and what kind of energy I bring to them. And can I be in the I don't know place with them and have their questions be very valid and very important. And so not jumping to answers or not giving them answers, but bringing it out from them because I do believe they have the answers and their questions are wonderful and all questions needn't be answered by a teacher. And so believing that the children know what they need to know, they have this wisdom in them, and they have a kind of intelligence that perhaps we as adults have lost because they're not conditioned yet. So I learn a lot from these children. The spontaneity, the the immediate release of emotion that they have, and then they're fine the next moment because they've released it. They're not holding on to a grudge. They'll meet you the next day very beautifully, and they forget because they've released it. The energy is gone. It's circulating. So with children, it's that. With younger adults, I would say there is a lot of I feel there is this disillusionment with the world because of Well, one thing I'd say that, elders, I think in our community, we are missing elders. Um, where are the elders? Where are the loving, supportive, wise elders? Who do we go to?
Yeah.
Especially as a young man, I know how important for me it has been to have a reference of a healthy older man who I can um, talk to, who I can get support from, who can acknowledge me as a younger man coming up and saying, "Hey, I see your effort." A pat on the back, a warm hug, and say, "Hey, keep going." Something like that. These men are missing. These elders are missing in our community. So therefore, the need of God and universe and all these things also, I feel, and then even our God men and all these, cults and
Gurus.
internet has made information so internet has made information so accessible. All these youngsters, they see the farce. They see the farce behind all this stuff. So they don't want to believe in anything that's served to them like that. In fact, that's kind of nice. I feel I respect that they want to experiment. They want to try it out. They don't want to immediately buy something. They want to do their own research, and I encourage that a lot. I encourage their questions. So if somebody would ask me, "Do you believe in God?" and I think I would respond maybe like, "It's not important what I believe in." I have come to my own set of beliefs in my own journey, my own way. Maybe I was not brought up in a home where God was revered like that, you know. But have I found my own connection to God, or not the meaning to God, but connection, or the universe, or something that's bigger than me that I can invest my faith into? Because in times of deep difficulties and darkness and trials, I feel the need to anchor myself in some kind of faith, and I get certain strength from that. You can call that God, you can call that universe, you can just call that love and light, and, you know. But I do believe in the importance of having a faith, having some kind of trust in something that's bigger than you, whether it's nature, whether it's this intelligence of our consciousness. And so just not being like, oh, canceling everything out. God भी नहीं है, ये भी नहीं है, energy भी नहीं है, chakras are this, chakras are that. All of that because you're getting now too critical, too smart. But I would tell the youngsters that try something out for a while before you dismiss it. Try it out if you haven't tried yoga, and give it some time. Like give it a year. See how it be a scientist. See how you observe the difference in you, in your body, in your alignment, in your energy, in the way you talk, in the way you attract opportunities, because you're just doing yoga. Something as simple as that. And if it works, great. Yeah. But don't just watch a YouTube clip and make an opinion on someone else's opinion. So don't have borrowed opinions, I would say. That's my take on that.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful, and I think the way that you express itself, there is so much to already ask a lot of questions from here. You get people curious, definitely. And I'm sure that's why the kids are all very happy when you're around them. So, there is something that I observe about you is that there is calmness in chaos. And I want to ask you this, that were you always like this? Were you that calm person in chaos, or have you become that
Oh,
person?
uh, uh, it's nice to receive how you receive me, but if you think I'm calm, you just need to ask my wife. She will tell you the truth. But yes, I have I have found a certain way of being comfortable within myself, certainly. Um, and I wasn't like that, to answer your question. Um I was very extroverted. I was very talkative. I was very much the center of a party, entertaining people, the loud guy, the joker, the jokes, the sarcasm. all of that. And that was, of course, a long time ago. And um, when I think when I began to just go this inward journey, this curiosity around who am I, how did I become who I became, what's serving my life and what is not, what is serving my relationship, what is not, which part is from my papa, which part is from my mama, what's the good, can I keep it, what's not so good, can I just let it be. When one individual goes through that kind of process, and it might be 1 year, 2 years, 7 years, in my case, many years, and I'm still in it. Um, I think that brings about. When I started shedding layers one by one, and especially my compulsive layers, like people pleasing, for instance, that
Yeah.
was me, or trying to be a really good host, throwing parties, and everybody just knowing that, oh, Gautam ghar pe party hai. I love cooking, I love giving people a nice treat. So I became that person always,
Mhm.
and because that's what I knew, and that's what I did, and but when I started thinking about opportunity cost, like, if I am invested in something, there
Yeah.
are other things I'm not invested in because time is so limited.
Right.
So, what are those other things I'm not invested in? When
Mm.
I started looking around those things, then I started realizing, hey, do I always want to do this? Maybe not. Maybe I need to balance my social life and my personal life and my professional life and my intimate life with my wife, and our own relationship and the values that we are trying to create and trying to follow and things like that. So if I was always in my social space, I would not be able to grow in my personal space. So growing up in my home, in my house, it was a very social space. My father and my mother, they loved hosting. They had many friends, and I really enjoyed it, of course. But um, I wouldn't say we had a balance in our social and our personal. It was very social. So, yeah, that's something again, just studying the self, studying my history, and letting go what doesn't work. That has helped me.
But do you have this concept of feeling missed out? What they say, FOMO, like because the world is moving in a particular direction, and here is Gautam Nima, completely opposite of that direction right now. That's what I feel in your age. So, do you feel that you're missing out on something?
That's a interesting question. I have to take a moment to.
Yes.
I um, because I do have these brief moments of FOMO, I guess. Like recently, my family was here, and it's Christmas time, so my brother's wife, their family, their in-laws, my in-laws, my father, they were all here, and they're all living in different hotels and spaces, and so and they have 15 days here. So a part of me thinks that, oh, how much time? I want to spend so much time with them. I want to just, you know, with the kids, with my nephew and my niece. I just want them, and when I couldn't do that because of work or because of my home requirement, my own priorities around home, then I would have this FOMO that, oh, I wish I could be with them and this. So that's the kind of FOMO I have. I don't know what else worldly FOMO, like
So,
being on
what
a
I
certain
meant was
platform,
that,
even Instagram. I'm just
yeah.
getting used to Instagram right now, because a young sweet girl made my account for me, and so I'm trying to get used to that now. Right? So I don't have that kind of FOMO. No.
Yeah, so that's what I meant.
Yeah.
The world is moving to very technology-driven platforms. You are trying to do something which is from the heart, like connecting our people and emotions together. And here we are, trying to explore the AI world. So there is a big disconnect. So
Right.
from that perspective, Gautam is going back to the roots, I feel, whereas the world is moving to something else completely. But I really admire you for what
Oh,
you're doing, and it's really commendable, I have to say.
thank you. Thank you for saying that. It's nice to hear it from you like that. It's important for people like me, or someone like me, to have that kind of mirrored back to me. It's motivating and it's assuring. Thank you. But yes, I went to this educational event once, and Pushpani and I went there as well, of course. And we have been very much curious about education, and we've been curious. We have been investigating and researching education and pedagogy.
Right.
What is it that our children of today need? That has become my prime focus now, education. And we said somebody said on stage that I think the purpose of education in the future is to rehumanize humans,
Yes.
and that's something, and I heard it like that. Of course, that's a belief that Pushpani and I both held in our hearts for a long time. But when I heard it like that, yes, that stayed with me, because if in the future AI indeed is going to take all the jobs, they are already. They're even driving now. Can even drive and package whatever, Everything is AI. Then what do humans do? So humans will be not required to do the mundane and the clockwork jobs. In fact, creativity will be encouraged later on. Creativity, connection, ecology, sort of an awareness of that, energy work. Basically, all the other intelligences that are available to us humans, but then have been dumbed down over the years because of this very one way of educating children. This machine that people come out of, everybody comes out, and we all just lose our intelligence. So many senses and intelligence that we have within us innately, we lose it. And the body is the best way to access it, I feel, and that's what keeps me engaged. So yes, I forgot why I was sharing this.
You were sharing it because I asked you, when the world is moving towards so much of digitalization, how is
Right,
Gautam Nima keeping his
right.
heart intact?
So thank you. So rehumanizing humans, and I also do believe in that. These days the challenge is to how to live a ordinary, simple life
Yeah.
where you are really connected to the people around you in your own village, and your local community, your wife, your children, your home, your dogs, your garden. You know, can I be content with that, or do I need to make a name out there? Do I need to have followers? Do I need to have? So these were questions that explored early on. As an artist, do I want fame? Do I want money? Those kind of things, and they were difficult, of course, and it took me some time to refine it further and further. But I'm very confident now that if fame happens to me by some, blessing or some by the way product, sure, I'm okay with that. But it's certainly not something I'm chasing, not at all. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So that's great. I think please keep on doing what you're doing. The world needs to remodelize human beings. I don't know what you said exactly, but what? Reframing humans?
Dehumanize humans.
Humanizing humans. Yeah. So I think that the world really needs that. And I think we need more people like
Yes.
you.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
so Gautam, I know that you're a fantastic creative person. Not only that you dance beautifully from your soul, because I've experienced that myself. And I love that kind of dancing because it brings out me, like, from whatever I have inside, it just comes out. I'm able to
Mm.
see myself clearly from inside. I'm able to observe the emotions that come around. I'm able to just identify exactly what kind of movement I'm feeling inside my body, and you do it so beautifully.
Wow.
So yeah, so I'm really going to compliment you on that because I've not
I
experienced
know, but that says a
it.
lot about you. I mean, that's amazing because I've had only a couple of sessions with you, and the way you're articulating the depth to which you have experienced it is very yeah, it's amazing to hear that. Wow, I'm happy to hear that the depth of experience you had. So nice. I mean, really
So
really nice to hear that.
yeah, thanks. And so I'm just going to tell you that we will be back in Goa again this monsoon with another coffee bean
Oh,
retreats. So don't go away.
yay. No.
And don't travel at
I'm not
that
going
time.
away.
Yeah. So I also know
Sure.
that besides the beautiful movement that you do, you also sing from your heart again. And I can hear some strings already by your side. So why don't you use this
Oh
moment?
yes, this is the guitar.
Yeah.
No, I was just because I was just so I taught myself the guitar when I was a kid, and I never really taken classes like that.
Oh,
And
wow.
back in the days, of course, no YouTube, just forward rewind on that stereo, which my dad had. But I find myself now playing my guitar in a way that is very in the moment, and it's not something I decide to play. It just comes. What's mine is yours. Our second act is for us to explore,
Yes.
making that choice,
Very nice.
that courageous choice, investing in that heartful choice to give yourself another chance, because you deserve it. You so deserve it. Your second act, your second journey, a deeper journey within you to the real you. When you are tired and exhausted, broken and disillusioned, maybe a little bit lost perhaps, it is time to gather, find your dear ones, your loved ones who love you, support you. Lean on them for a while, it's okay. Play with them for a while, it's okay.
Nice.
Come back to the basics of life, and
Beautiful.
that should be a good way to start your second act today, tonight.
So nice. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, this is called creative talent, I have to say. Just spontaneous. How cool is that? Very nice. Thank you. I'm
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
going to celebrate the 100th podcast on the 20th of January in Delhi. I wish you were here.
Yay.
But I'm going to play
Oh,
this
yes.
little snippet for everybody who can come to Delhi on that day, who have been a part of this beautiful journey. So thank you
So
for
nice.
giving this
So
present to
nice.
us.
Congratulations again.
Thank you so much, really.
Thank you for the opportunity.
What a wrap. What a wrap. So, since you spoke so much about second act already, of course, this podcast is about second.
Ah,
It is about
yes.
the chance that one takes. It is about, yeah, going back to understanding what life is. It's about really being yourself. And I think nobody can make it more beautiful than you have. So, what is second act for you?
Well, well, when I met you and I heard a little bit about your intentions and what you're trying to do with Second Act and Coffee Beans Retreat and how you've had a life. I mean, life is so long and we've had so many phases, but you've had a very good run in a very corporate professional life. And there came a point for you where you stopped a while, you paused, and you asked yourself some very important questions. And so from there on, I feel like you gave birth to Second Act. You gave birth to this opportunities, these retreats, these experiences, now this podcast. So you are giving birth again and again, Archanaji, and you are creating again and again and redefining and exploring always, curious, learning. And I think we are like that when we were children. We were always like that when we were children, so curious. We had so many whys,
Yeah.
we had so many wonders. Uh, and I think perhaps second act could be asking those questions again and going back to what is it that's really important for you first, for me, not as a husband or a father, mother, teacher. No, just for me. What's important for me, and can I bloom in my own life?
Yeah.
And so to make that choice, somebody once told me, I think that it's important to, yes, it's important to ask questions, but boy, is it important to ask the right ones.
Yeah.
um, so your point in life, I learned from you that when we come to a place and when we start asking those important questions, I think that's a good beginning to a second act. So for me, Achalaji, it became I think I started that because my choice of career and my choice of what I do is pretty constant. I didn't come to this from another stream. But yes, as an educator, I didn't think I was going to be an educator. And I am very happy that I am. But I think in New York, I think in New York, it started happening to me. These questions: Who am I? What am I doing? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Um, and why do I dance? What's the kind of story I want to tell? Whose story do I want to tell? Do I want to be a part of someone's story, or do I want to tell my own story? And, uh, but I was lucky. I had mentors who looked at me in my eyes and they said, Gautam, your story is important.
Wow.
Gautam, your story is important. Tell your story. I want to hear your story. And I'm only now trying to give what my mentors have given to me. And uh, so I'm happy that I can circulate that further. But sometimes to begin a second act, I guess it's a, sometimes it helps if you have somebody supportive who sees you, who sees your journey, who acknowledges you and says, hey, take a break and, go for a holiday or well, go for a
Explore yourself.
retreat. Yeah, just do something different. Come out of your everyday life
Yeah.
and challenge yourself. Maybe it's not a challenge. Maybe it's just change the course of your life.
Mm.
Experiment again. Bring that flavor of experimenting and curiosity, and know that as human beings we are. constantly creating ourselves. Like whenever I create a song or I create a course or a dance, that is just how it looks. It's manifesting like that, but I'm creating myself consciously. Uh, I am the I am the creativity creator and the created, and so taking that agency back, taking that power back, and saying, no, I'm important. I'm going to do this for myself. I think that could be the beginning of a second act. And um, thank you to you to give people that kind of opportunity consciously. I mean, they come to your retreats for second act. They know what they're getting in for. And so many people need it.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's the intention. All the work that I've been doing, whether it is corporate workshops, whether it is the podcast or the coffee bean retreats or my social work, to be honest. And I think that's where I get my maximum output of what Second Act can actually do to people when they have this awareness about themselves and this one life that we have. So I think it raises some great questions, makes, I think, life worth living if we answer those questions, and really identifies a beautiful path that can be defined by us. So
Hmm.
I think I live by it every day. I see a beautiful, community which is now building together in every lateral that I've created. I'm sorry, you've given me a viral infection of throat from so much of distance from Goa to Delhi.
I apologize for
Um,
that.
and I'm just thinking that I will be, soaking myself in the sun very soon, I hope, in Goa like you. Yes,
I,
Second Act is such a beautiful platform, and thank you for really creating that beautiful song, which it is so relatable to what you spoke of asking ourselves such nice questions. So we want to wrap up this podcast, but at the moment there are some very quick questions that I want to ask you about yourself again to know you a little bit more through our rapid fire. Are you
thank
ready for it? Are you ready for
you.
it?
I don't know. I will find out.
Oh, of course, these will be easy ones. Don't worry. So, so what are the three things Gautam Nima is proud about himself for?
Oh, uh, um, my heart.
Well,
I've got a big heart. Um, um, my my love for um, relationships and connection, and and for um, for doing all these things that I've done for so many years, dance, music,
well,
and staying consistent on that to some extent. And it's really become a part of me. And I'm so glad I did that. It gives me so many more ways of experiencing life. So I'm proud of that. Yes.
thank you. I mean, you took time. And this also tells me that how, to say something nice, we still have to think about ourselves. So, but
Yes. Well, yeah.
so it's wonderful that you could do that. So that's a good step of acknowledging what you have and what you like about yourself. So that's great.
Thank you for asking me that.
So if Gautam Nima had to recall a moment of 2022, one moment which gave him absolute joy, what that moment would be?
2022, last year. Oh, definitely sunsets with my wife on the beach. Nothing tops that.
Nice. You talk so much about your wife, and I really want to also acknowledge that because not everybody acknowledges their partner the way you do. And I have heard about her so much from you. And this podcast, I think she must hear because I think you've spoken about her at least 5 or 6 times already. So it shows the kind of relationship you have, shows the kind of impact she has on your life.
Oh yes, very much.
Yeah, and the way
Very
that
deep.
you have shaped up probably as a person, there's a lot of her in you. I see a lot of
Absolutely.
feminist side in you, which I love. And we've spoken a lot about that as well. So I think she
Hmm.
also has a great role to play in taking out the feminine in you, I would say.
Oh
So,
yes.
so say that she's
She
a beautiful.
struggled. She struggled, and we're still a work in progress.
Of course,
But yes, a lot of my awareness on that is because of her. I'm
we're
very
all
lucky.
work in
She's
progress.
really connected to her feminine self. She's really because a lot of the women are not so connected to their feminine self
So true.
because of the way how the history has been. They're all competing, and everybody wants to be a CEO. But you know, my wife, I've learned a lot from her, certainly.
So if there's one thing you would want to change in the world, that would be.
Oh, yes. I know I always want to give two answers um, to questions like this because I wouldn't want to change, but to play the game, sure, I want to say something. Um, uh, um, the value in families, just family, just just values around family and bringing that as a subject in schools, conscious family, conscious parenting, children, their needs, couple, couple work, uh, really working on a relationship, cultivating a relationship. It takes work. It's not naturally learned. I don't think that is not for me. Uh, so those values I would like to bring to the world. I would love for that to happen for every family to be really together and prioritize the family. Uh, I think the world will just nothing else will have to be done then. I feel
Very nice.
that's what I would like to change.
Very nice. One thing that you want us to hear, whoever's hearing us today, whoever's seeing you today, Gautam, from your experience in life, what is that one thing that you want to leave us with?
Oh, um, uh, well, I'm not going to think too much. This word is coming up to me, um, coming up for me. Trust,
Hmm.
mm, trust and faith in, of course, oneself, because we don't get so much of that from the outside world, unfortunately. We're living in a world where we have to cultivate these values and these beliefs and for ourselves. Like I said, the elders are kind of missing, and, all this TV generation, and of course now YouTube and phones. Everybody's getting very, very isolated in their own worlds, in their own pods.
Yes.
And so I would say that to generate that trust and that faith from within oneself, for the self, and for life and the world and future in general, to just trust that things are gonna be things are the way they're meant to be, and things are gonna be good. So good in the sense that not moralistically good, but in the whole picture, things are moving forward and change is happening, and you will grow. I will grow. That trust.
Very nice. And is there anybody or anything that motivates you every single day to be that kind and compassionate person?
Oh, my wife,
I must meet her.
totally. She is my mirror. Um, she's my mirror, so I love her a lot, and she loves me. I've been given a lot of love from her, but there are, of course, difficult moments because the truth come in that moment with her. Right here, right now, I am being authentic. I am being me. But then I'm not, I'm not living with you. I'm not uh, every day with you. And the person who I do that with is my wife. So she's my mirror every day. So she's so much love. She's just so much love, so much kindness and compassion. Uh, so I totally no doubt my wife is my answer to that.
Thank you, and thank you for that. And I'm sure that she's hearing you and will to let the world know, as they say. It's such an honor to have you, Gautam. Uh, you don't meet people like you every day, so keep Gautam Nima intact, keep that kindness intact, keep that love coming intact. It's really nice to meet you, know more about you and the work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And again, like I tell you, I say that it's so you make me feel so comfortable and so easeful to be me, and that's a gift you give, Rachanaji. It's the kind of presence you have, it's the kind of compassion and thoughtfulness and heart you bring. So uh, thank you for that, and thank you for every wonderful venture you create. And I look forward to seeing you soon and Palak soon. And please wish Gautamji a wonderful, beautiful, happy birthday from my side.
Thank you so much. I'm almost in tears for what you said, but thank you. I mean, it made an impact on my heart. I will
It's
wait to
only true.
see you. I will wait to see you as well. God bless you and wish you and your wife a very happy start to 2023 and see you
Ah, thank
in
you.
Delhi or Gurgaon soon.